Hey guys, today I am filming my 2020 Best in Beauty. I am so excited to share my favorite products of the year with you guys. And these were things that I either discovered this year or things that I use so much I had to mention them again. Because for the most part, I don't go through and give you like my favorite products in each category, because some things that are my favorites I've been loving for years. So if you guys would like to see an all-time favorites video or a holy grail favorites video, let me know. I'd be happy to do that. But I think everything with the exception of one thing is something that I've mentioned for the first time in the yearly favorites. So we will just get started with base products. I have two primers I tried for the first time this year that really impressed me, and I tried both of these in sample sizes. So the first one is the Tarte Base Tape Hydrating Primer, and this is exactly what it says. It is a very hydrating primer. I've tried some from several other brands and I didn't like them at all, like the Too Faced Hangover RX, the First Day Beauty Coconut Skin Primer, and the like Hyaluronic Hydrating Primer, Becca First Light Priming Filter. I don't like any of those, and those are all supposed to be more hydrating. They felt too greasy. This felt like it plumped my skin and I felt super hydrated and smooth. This was very, very nice. Now this will make me a little bit oily, so I only can use this in the winter time. And the reason I have a full size is because I did buy this off the BoxyCharm Facebook group for half off. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have this, but it's really good. I have other primers that I would reach for other times throughout the year when my skin is more oily, but if you have dry or normal or combo skin and you are looking for a hydrating primer, this is really good. And then I do have a glowy primer favorite. This is the VDL Luma Layer Primer. I did not really expect to like this very much, but I got a deluxe sample of it from my friend Jean, I believe, and I had heard Hannah Louise post and rave about this, so I decided to try it out. And this is something that I tried, like both of these, at the very beginning of 2020. This is so good. So I love the color of this because it is an opalescent sheen, and this looks very pretty on the skin, gives you a nice glow, makes you look more youthful. Your skin looks a little bit more plump as well, but this is not a greasy product. It doesn't make your makeup slip slide around. It just looks very pretty. I also really love the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. I find them to be pretty comparable. It's just that the shine to them is a different color. That's what I noticed mostly, but this is so good. This is a little bit expensive, but luckily VDL is a brand that you can buy from Ulta. Not all their products, just a select few, but all of their primers are sold there. Really, really good. I definitely recommend this over other things. Like right now I'm using a sample of the Beauty Blender Opalescence Primer. That is so greasy. It is gross. This is so nice. Very glowy without being greasy, and I really love the color. So again, if you like hydrating primers, you like glowy primers, and you have dry normal combo skin, I would definitely recommend these to you. I have very, very oily skin and I still like these, but only in the winter time. But I've mentioned it before in a couple other videos. I have like 8 to 10 primers I really love, and those are 2 of them. So then there were 2 foundations I discovered this year and fell in love with, which is crazy for me. I love trying out different foundations, and while there are things that I think are okay, there's not a ton of things that I like fall head over heels in love with. And these are recent favorites. I talked about them both in my fall favorites video of this year. So the first one is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation, the oil-free matte version. I have the shade Fair. So IT Cosmetics does not have the best shade range. The Fair shade is a little bit dark for me, but I am able to make it work. I tried the original version of this, and I love the way that it looked on my skin, but it did not hold up my oily skin. But this oil-free matte version is perfect. So this does give a really solid medium coverage. It has more of a natural satin look on the skin, but it stays in place really well, and this just gives my oily skin like a fresh look without being greasy. And I do think that this would actually work really well for all skin types. If you have dry skin looking for a matte finish, I think you would like this because it's not going to dry you out as much as my next recommendation. So this is great for like an everyday basis for me, where I'm someone that likes a medium to full coverage. So love this. very expensive, but I love it. Also, I have tried It Cosmetics Matte CC Cream. That one is a little bit thicker and moussier, and this is more of like a creamy texture. Much prefer the texture, the finish, the wear. I think this is much better than the matte CC Cream, so love that. The other product is something that I just got for Christmas. I will link that haul up in the cards. This is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Coverage Foundation, and I had a little deluxe size sample of this in the shade Mont Blanc, which is a little dark, a little bit more of a neutral tone, and I purchased it in the shade Light Zero Siberia, which is the fairest shade, I believe, and this does have more of a yellow undertone. Now, I have not used this color yet, but this formula is incredible. This does give you insane full coverage. It has like a pretty liquidy texture, which I love because it doesn't feel as heavy as something that is more moussey. At least that's how I feel about those type of formulas on my skin. This is so mattifying. This is a very dry down, very flat matte. I love that because I go in with setting spray and highlight, and my natural oils are gonna come throughout the day, and it's not gonna look so flat and dry. This is incredible. It looks beautiful. I love the consistency. It wears really, really well. But if you have dry skin, you're not going to like this. I don't think anyway. But if you have really oily skin and you're looking for something full coverage, very mattifying, this is it, sis. So these are literally like my two staple foundations right now. I want to test these next year head to head with my others, but I'm absolutely in love with both of them. Highly, highly recommend them if you have a combo to oily skin type. Then moving on to some cheek products. I don't believe I've mentioned this blush in a favorites. I've had it for a little while now, but I just really loved wearing it this year. And this is Becca's Flowerchild. I know this has been out for forever, and honestly, Becca is a bit of a boring brand to me, but they have a couple products I think are staples and perform so well, and their blushes would be one of them. Flowerchild is such a beautiful, shimmery, warm pink color with some peach in it. This is not like Nars Orgasm to me. I like it much more. And it's just so beautiful. It looks very natural on the skin. It's not too shimmery, but it's not a flat matte blush either. Just love that one. And this next one was a limited edition blush, but I'm sure Tarte has similar colors in their permanent range. This is B-Day Bay, which is a matte finish, and this is a really pretty pinky tone peach color. I just love the way that this one looks on my skin. This is something that I really feel like works in several different seasons with several different kinds of makeup looks, and I really do like the Tarte formula. I would say don't swatch these blushes because it feels to me like the oils in your skin can dry out the product, but works really well with more of like a dense blush brush on the cheeks. So nice. Then of course I have to mention the Lunar Beauty Moon Prism palette. I feel so fortunate to have this because I know that this has been sold out for forever. He just released it again for the holidays, or I should say he restocked it for the holidays. It sold out really quickly. So this is what it looks like. And originally I was disappointed when I got this because I bought this when it was available on Sephora for a period of time, and it looked like 6 shades of coral. So when I got it, I was like, but this is better because this will work for more skin tones, and variety is good. Like I have a million coral blushes. Variety is good. So you have got 5 matte blushes, 1 shimmer blush. I have worn all of these. I think they're all gorgeous. I was kind of nervous about these darker shades on my skin, but applied with a light hand using a light amount of product, they look beautiful. And I definitely think this would work well for a lot of skin tones, and you can mix and match the colors. This performs so well. The shades are so beautiful, and of course the packaging is gorgeous. So I would love to see Manny come out with some more cheek palettes in the future, and I'm excited to see what more comes from his brand, but this is a very good product. Then I have got 2 highlighter favorites, and I was surprised that I didn't mention these last year, but I think I just hadn't used them as much until this year. So these are the 2 highlighters available from Benefit. Dandelion Twinkle, we are not calling that a highlight. I don't know what that is. That's almost like an Hourglass ambient lighting powder. Like we are not calling that a highlight. These babies are highlights and they're amazing. I would love Benefit to come out with more shades because this is an amazing metallic formula that I think looks very smooth on the skin. It will emphasize texture a little bit, but not that bad. And for me, like all highlights do that. Obsessed, obsessed. So the two colors that we've got here, this is Cookie, this is the Champagne shade, and then you have Tickle, which is a beautiful pink tone highlight, but you can see it does have a flash of gold. This is actually pretty similar to Becca's Lilac Geode, except that one has a little bit more purple in it and it's a little bit darker. So this one actually works better for my skin tone. I love this as a highlight for fall, but this would honestly work well all year round. And this is when I reach for in the springtime. I thought this might be too dark for me, but it's not because of that reflect. And it just blends really beautifully into the blush that I tend to wear in spring. So the formulas of these are absolutely incredible. The shades are so pretty. Definitely would recommend these. And the Benefit formula and the Ofra formula are my top two now. Next, I have a couple products that may seem kind of random to mention as favorites, but I tried them for the first time this year and really liked them, and I'm wearing them both today. You won't really be able to see, but I am wearing them. So the first one is the Benefit 3D Brow Tones, which is a tinted brow gel. I have the shade number 2, and this says it is supposed to be a subtle brow enhancing highlight. So basically, here's what the wand looks like. This has a metallic sheen to it. And when I first saw this product, I was like, that is insane. I'm going to look crazy. I bought this in a brow set. I never would have bought this on its own. And I'm wearing it today. I don't know if my brows are gonna look metallic to you, and they don't look that metallic. Of course, with this product and the brush, even if you like really focus with that tip, you're not gonna like shellac metallic paint onto your brows. It really just helps to emphasize the brow hairs, make them look a little bit more natural. I really enjoy this one. I probably wouldn't purchase it again unless it was half off or if it came in a set again, but this tube has lasted me forever, and it's really surprising to me how much I enjoy that. My next favorite is the Anastasia Eye Primer, and this was my first time using a liquid eye primer with a tint to it, and this is like a light ivory color. If you have a deeper skin tone, this is gonna look a little bit white on you, but for my fair skin, it looks nice and ivory, and this I really love because I've tried MAC paint pot type products, and applying it all over, first off, the shade doesn't really work for me, and then it feels like it's just too thick. But because this is like a liquid eye primer, it blends nicely. It gives a little bit of coverage without being as full coverage as concealer. I think it helps my eyeshadows from creasing. So the way that I apply this product would be I apply my face primer, then I will apply this with a damp beauty sponge. I will take it from the inner corner up to my brow bone, a little bit on the sides, and sometimes under my eye if I have extra product. Then I will do the rest of my face makeup, my brows, and then before I set my eye primer, this will have settled in my crease because I do have hooded eyes. I literally just take my finger and like blend it out slightly, set it with a powder shadow, and it's perfect and good to go. I just really enjoy this. This is definitely something that I would purchase in the future. I love that it has a tint to it, but it also helps hold my shadows in place. So definitely recommend that. Then I only have a couple eyeshadows, not as much as I would like, and I was tempted to put in some other things, but I was like, no, these are the things that I can say like, yes, I absolutely love them, where there were other products where I was more of like, yes, I really enjoyed them and I like them. I'll have my other favorites videos linked for you guys. For the past 2 years, I think, have just been doing seasonal favorites every 3 months instead of doing monthly favorites. So these first palettes I almost forgot about because I got them for Christmas last year and I didn't start using them until wintertime, which was a year ago at this point, and that would be the Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions palettes. I have light, medium, and rich, and I love them. So I really enjoy the large palettes from Huda, but I feel like her Obsessions palettes have inconsistent formulas. There are some that I've enjoyed, some that I have not, but I think that these nude versions all perform really well. So here is the light palette, and it's pretty similar to her new nude. Then we have the medium palette, which is a bit more warm tone. And we have the rich palette. Usually when I try an Obsessions palette from Huda, there are 1 or 2 duds. All of the shades in all of these palettes perform really well. So these are nice and pigmented and blendable. The shimmers are shimmery, the mattes are matte. Really happy with this quality. I love the packaging. These are so, so cute, and maybe you don't need them all. You might have similar shades, especially if you have the new Nude and her new Naughty Nude palette. If you have the 2 of those, you probably don't need these, but these are my kind of tones. I do like Huda's formula, so I was definitely happy to have them and I would recommend them. Next, I've got another palette that I was liking more springtime, and this is the ColourPop She's Got Solstice palette. This was limited edition, I think, unfortunately. I got this from Ulta, and this is a 9-pan palette, and you've got mostly neutrals in here. You do have this like mossy green. These are just so pretty. I love this palette. It is a little bit similar to the Sweet Talk palette, which is like one of my like top palettes of all time. But it's really very complementary to that. I don't think you have any repeat shades. They're just similar-ish tones. This one's a little more pinky. The other one's a little more peachy, but I think they would pair really well together. But if you can't get this palette anymore, I do think you would enjoy the Sweet Talk one. So really performed very well, and I love the shades in there. And then I've got a couple single shadows that I used together, and basically I would rotate between these 2 Tarte Chrome Paint shadow pots on my lid, and I would pair it with some matte shades from Anastasia. And these were really like go-to spring shades for me. I wore this a lot when I was on rotation at work, and I know that if it was not COVID times, if I was going to work like normal, I know that I would have been creating one of these 2 looks almost every single day when I was going to work. I know I would have. I love these so much. So the Tarte Chrome Paint Shadow Pot formula is incredible. These have actually gone on sale several times this year, which is great. I don't think they're being discontinued. I hope not. But they perform so well. They are expensive, but I recommend getting them on a sale if you can. They're so good. So they are very nice metallic shadows. They're a little bit thicker. They've got some substance to them and they stay in place really well. So this first one is the shade Frose. This is very similar to Nars Orgasm, except it has a little bit more champagne instead of gold. So it's a little bit lighter on the eye. And the other shade I have is in the new packaging, which is a little bit sleeker. This is Paradise Found. This is a beautiful champagne with a peachy undertone. It's very brightening on the lid. And then these other matte shades I think are repeats from years past, but I wore these spring, summer, fall this year. And I actually put my fresh pans in here so it'd be prettier for you guys to look at. So these are Anastasia, Birkin, and Bengal. I did use up Bengal this year. Birkin I have just a little bit left, but I had backups of both of these because these are staple shades of mine. They're warm tone without being too orange, which is why I think they work really well for me spring, summer, and fall. I love the Anastasia formula, and these shades paired perfectly with those shimmery lid colors. Next, we have lip favorites, and there were other formulas and colors that I tried and enjoyed this year, but these are the ones that I feel like I loved the most. However, it could be because they're the most on my mind because these were my fall favorites, but I actually did use these several times, so I feel like I can be justified in calling these a yearly favorite. First would be this lip liner. So the ColourPop Lippie Pencil formula is my favorite of all time. I find them super easy to apply. I can fill in my lips completely and they don't feel too thick and stiff or dry. And yes, a wooden lip liner might help keep your lip color in a little bit. It might be more precise, but luckily for me, I don't have a bunch of feathering. I usually wear lip liners just to really help define my lips and so that I can fill in the lines when I'm applying lip color, which is what I did today. But my favorite lip liner shade from ColourPop at the moment would be the color Little One, which is a peachy nude. I will swatch it for you. I use this so much in the fall. Such a perfect color for me. Not too dark, not too light. Absolutely love this. I thought I would enjoy BFF a little bit more, but that's a little bit cooler for me, or it's a little bit more tan, and this is peachy, which is what I go for. Then my other favorites would be these Buxom full-on lip creams that were from their limited edition fall collection. They had 4 glosses, 2 of the lip polish formula and 2 of the lip creams. So happy that I picked these up. And the first one I got is Spiked Apple Cider. I used my $10 Ulta coupon on this so I could get it for a good price, because I just can't really pay full price for these glosses, but I love them. So here's what that color looks like. And then for the other color, I purchased this with a gift card I got for my birthday. And this one is Pumpkin Spiced Latte, which is a little warmer, has a bit more orange in it, while the apple cider color has a little bit more pink. So you can see they're very similar, but apple cider more pink and the pumpkin one is more peach. So the Buxom glosses are my favorite of all time. I love the lip polishes, but the lip creams are my favorite because they don't have any shimmer. They just have this beautiful glossy shine, and they give a little bit more coverage. I would say they're probably light medium to medium coverage, which is perfect for me. I don't love a super full coverage gloss. They are a little bit sticky, but not bad. They stay in place really well, and I have several shades from them, and I just think they're phenomenal. So really happy that I picked up those colors as well. So that is all for lips. So now I'm going to show you some nail polishes. The first is one from ColourPop, which is a brand that's not been around for a year, but this is a color that my friend Amanda Alexander decluttered to me. I wore it in the spring and I love it. This is a great spring neutral for me. This is Miss Honey, which is a nude with a peach undertone. So beautiful. I really, really love this, and I wore it like when my nails were long like this, and it just like made my hands and fingers look even more extended. Love this. ColourPop had one of my favorite formulas of all time. It still breaks my heart they're not available anymore. Then I have a polish from 90 Lacquer, which is an indie brand from JessFace90, who has an amazing nail polish YouTube channel and blog and Instagram. And this was one of her fall collection shades, and it is in Maple, which is just a beautiful orangey copper metallic. I have other new shades from her that I liked as well, but this was my standout. Next, I have a Color Club polish I've been looking for like a year, and I finally found it this year at Walmart. This is in the shade Supernatural, and it is a beautiful, more turquoise holographic polish. It looks so stunning on the nails, and this is like my favorite summer polish ever. It also has a really nice formula. And lastly, I wanted to mention 4 polishes from Lights Lacquer. I did just buy a few more shades during Black Friday, but I haven't worn them yet. But I did wear these this year, and I really enjoyed them. So this first one is Girl Power. This is something I did use on its own. It took 3 coats, and it wasn't still fully opaque. So this is something that's going to either be a little bit sheer, or it's better as a topper, but it's really unique. Then I've got 11, which is like a pea soup color. I didn't think I would like this one, but I ended up really enjoying it. Not everybody else, but I did. And then we have these 2 more muted shades, which you guys know are my kind of tones. This is Jefa. I thought it was Jefa, but I think it's Jefa. I think is how you pronounce it. Let me know if I'm wrong. And then this more blue one is Cold Turkey. You guys know I love these shades and the more murky muted tones to them. Love, love, love. And I do think that her Lights Lacquer formula is very comparable to ColourPop, which is great. And lastly, I wanted to finish off with a couple of brushes. And the first one is from the brand Anissa Beauty. And I purchased these because of Rose and Ben. If you guys do not follow her on Instagram, you need to. She does get ready with me's like every single day, and I love them. And I'm not a tutorial person, but for some reason I like watching people get ready on Instagram. I don't know what the difference is, but I love her videos. She does great makeup looks, and she's the reason I bought these brushes. And this is the angled care brush, and I use this to apply primer. And at first I thought that was so bougie, and it is. It's totally not necessary. You can apply it with your hand, but it's fun to apply primer with a brush, and this does a good job because it doesn't gunk up the brush. This was made to be more of like a skincare brush. Works so well. Absolutely love this. I'm sure you can use foundation or apply skincare with it, but it's so good for primer. And I do like the handle because if you did have a primer in like a pot, you could scrape some out with a brush, put it on the back of your hand, and then apply it. So really, really love that brush, and I was able to get it for a really good price thanks to one of the coupon codes that Rose had. And then my other standout brush is face as well. You guys know I love face brushes the most. This is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH06 My Everything brush. And sure, you could use this for a light dusting of powder, bronzer, highlight, but I love this for blush. I love using this with blushes that are a little bit more pigmented because this does still have that angle to it, which is perfect for me because I like putting blush on the back of my cheeks, and it just applies it and blends it so nicely. I love, love, love this brush. I also really love the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill eye brushes. This was the face brush I bought from her collection, but I bought most, if not all, of the eye brushes. I use those every single day. I really love those as well, but all of those shapes are very similar to other brushes from Morphe that I've mentioned before, but that's an honorable mention. I do love those eye brushes, but this face brush is so good. And I do think that like the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill brushes are a little bit better than the regular Morphe ones, and I love the handle and the packaging. So guys, those were my favorite products of the year. So many awesome things that I'm really excited to wear again that I would definitely want to have in my collection. And I would love to know your thoughts on these products in the comments down below. And I would love to know what were your standout products of the year. Again, let me know if you would like to see a Holy Grail favorites video from me, because there are several products that, of course, I didn't talk about a concealer or a powder or a setting spray. There were several categories that were left out of this video because there weren't any new products that I liked more than the things that I've used in the past. So just let me know what you guys would like to see. I would love to know your favorites of the year. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.